everyone, and hi Natasha, thanks for joining us today.
Hi everybody.
Thanks for joining us for this day in the life. We're going to be having a little chat to Natasha, a Freelance Salesforce Consultant today. And she's going to tell us a little bit about her supermum's journey and her journey into Salesforce. We're really grateful to have her with us. First of all, for those of you who don't know, a little bit of an introduction to supermums and what we're doing. So we're training over 200 supermums and some dads in Salesforce skills. So no matter whether you're brand new to Salesforce or are in Salesforce and looking to upskill, we've got various different courses in various different time zones that you might be able to take part in. So we've got in our European time zone out of the UK, we've got our administrator course, a consultancy course, a marketing course, and upcoming platform developer course as well. But we are expanding. We've got courses in the USA and hopefully soon in Australia as well. More about that later. We've got loads of great companies involved who support what we do as well. You can see a few of them here. These guys are some of our sponsors who work with us to help us deliver our courses. The consultancy course that we're going to be talking about today this year has been sponsored by Dyson, so a huge thank you to them for being involved. So moving swiftly on, we're just going to have a chat to you, Natasha, about you and what you do. Do you want to start off with just a little introduction to yourself?
Sure, I'm Natasha. I am originally from New Zealand and I've lived in the UK for 9 years. That's where I really got started in Salesforce. I kind of ended up being the most techie person in the room when one of my clients wanted to bring it in. So I took on the project and got involved in Salesforce, learnt alongside an agency how it all worked, and eventually was able to take that knowledge and help other charities and things that I worked with to bring it in. So we moved here to Australia back in 2015, and I started volunteering with an organisation called Geelong Mums, who rehome pre-loved baby clothes, and they really use Salesforce in just an excellent way throughout the organisation. And so being part of their volunteering program, then led me to working with foundations here in Geelong and across the Southwest Victoria. And yeah, it's just taken off from there. So Salesforce is probably, well, I've got a day job as well, 2 days a week while I'm marketing manager at a research and training institute, and I've brought Salesforce into them. And outside of that, I do Salesforce in my spare time as well. Yeah.
So you became one of the, it's a common story, I think, in Salesforce, the accidental admin, and then got the bug in a big way.
Absolutely, it's been a huge learning curve, but it's something I've really enjoyed learning about, and getting to that point where my skills allow me to work with charities in that way and really kind of help them with their business functions as well as their database.
Yeah, that's really, really great, and we can talk a little bit more about that specifically later. Tell me more about what certifications do you yourself have so far?
So I got my admin certification, so I did that when my third child was newly born until it was, I started studying when he was born in September, and then I sat my certification in December. So that was an intense studying period and newborn period. That third child I knew was going to be my last maternity leave, so I thought I'd better get it in. And then last year I completed my email specialist, marketing cloud email specialist certification as well, because we brought marketing cloud into my day job and really wanted to use that to the most of its potential.
That's brilliant. And we've actually did a webinar quite recently about bringing skills from different areas into Salesforce and kind of vice versa there. So that's really interesting, because we do have a marketing course which gets you that certification which you just mentioned. Not that you are doing that one particular one with us, because you've already got your cert, which is great. But I'm guessing you found that transition, you said your day job is involved in marketing, that really helped. That was a really kind of nice, neat set of skills you could bring together, Salesforce and marketing.
Absolutely. I mean, I think marketing is all about having that one view of the customer and then looking at different channels to reach out to them. So having that marketing knowledge and then working with Marketing Cloud was a really great synergy. And also working for charity sector for 10 years has definitely helped me in terms of going into freelance roles with charities, because I can just bring that kind of understanding of how the sector works and how what problems they might be facing, or what issues they have, what challenges are inherent in their work, and really kind of help them design solutions in Salesforce that will help them get the data that they need to help their beneficiaries.
Yeah, I talk about a lot, all the different industries you can come from and bring your skills to Salesforce and combine them together. And the not-for-profit one is a really good example there.
Absolutely, just finding
Yeah.
kind of what your niche is. And I think when I started freelancing, I kind of tried to be everything for everybody, and it's spread me very thin, especially being a new mum as well at that time. And so kind of learning where my specialties are, which is healthcare and education and not-for-profit, and really focusing on those clients has definitely been the way forward, and kind of gives me a better kind of balance in my life, I suppose.
Yeah, and a lot of mums who do our courses are doing that, well, mums and dads, doing that to kind of help find that work-life balance. And I know that you've been doing some freelance Salesforce consultancy, and that's a, that kind of career definitely allows you a little bit more flexibility with how you're managing your time. And that brings us to the course that you're actually doing with Supermums, which is the consultancy course, right?
Absolutely. So I kind of started off 2020 thinking, this is my year, I'm going to get into consulting more fully. And so I started off the consultancy course, which has just been amazing in terms of giving me kind of the vocabulary and the terminology and the processes, and just kind of refining and allowing me to reflect on the consultancy work I'd done in the past, and kind of come up with plans of how I would approach things differently going forwards. And so that has started, and I've picked up a few new clients this year as well. But of course, then we had the COVID-19 situation, so things have been put on a little bit of pause on that front, but definitely keen to pick that up later in the year and do a lot more, because I'm learning a huge amount from the calls, from the videos, and from even just practicing doing my presentations for the assessments and things like that.
Yeah, so do you want to talk us through, for the benefit of people who might be thinking about the course, kind of how it's structured? So you've got some little videos and assessments to do. Do you just want to talk a bit through your experience of doing that?
Yep, so there's videos to watch. So I've been a mum, I kind of put those on over making dinner or things like that, or snatching a moment where I can. I guess it's, for me, better than tuning up for live classes, because I'm just not going to be able to do that. But I can kind of fit in some time here and there and just get those videos watched, and we kind of take notes and think as I go along, because Heather's always asking reflective questions at the end about your own practice, and that's been invaluable for me in terms of looking back at what I've done the previous year, or even like the things that were going on at the time in terms of being able to train my colleagues in Salesforce and think about their different learning styles and things like that. So Heather's given a huge amount of kind of theory and thinking behind what she's done as well as some very practical documents or processes that you can use when you're doing consultancy work. And so
applicable, you can kind of take it and apply it straight away. And
so there are weekly calls with the course participants and the training leaders, which were at midnight, and then I think now 1 PM Australian time. But they were just worth getting up for, because it was just a great sounding board for kind of discussing ideas around the consultancy, things that might have arisen that week, both in terms of the course content and also in terms of the consulting work I was doing at the time.
So you get input from lots of other people on the course as well, because I think with some of our courses we just have our trainer teaching, which is what is required on something like the admin course, but a consultancy course, those sessions are a little bit different, aren't they, where you can all contribute and bring something to that conversation.
Absolutely. I think kind of when I was looking for super mums when I found you, I moved to Australia and I'm in regional Victoria, so I can't often get to Melbourne to go to this big Salesforce events. So like I've been to World Tour and things like that, but kind of the weekly things or the monthly things, I just can't get into town for that as a mum and as living about an hour out of Melbourne. So it's just been great to be able to kind of network with people and hear ideas from others in the field, I guess, and really learn from that.
And yeah, thanks for mentioning it, because that is what we really try hard to do with Supermums, is create a bit of a sense of community, because Salesforce is great with the Ohana, and there are so many different events and groups you can join. And actually now, during this time, because we're in this COVID period, there is more stuff that is online and virtual, which is probably great for you if you can't get out to the events all the time. But that's what we try to do as well, make sure there are opportunities for people to network in different ways if you can't actually go somewhere.
That's definitely been the case here. And yeah, and so apart from that, there's also video assessments on each module. So again, you get the experience of just building the PowerPoint, and I know I've already used some of the PowerPoints I've created for my assessments as framework for meetings with clients and things like that. So talking about agile project management methodology, just talking about the whole design process of the database, just kind of really structured ways of of approaching those initial client conversations.
Yeah. How do you find the assessments? Were they a bit nerve-wracking to do at first?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's nerve-wracking always. I think after 3 months of looking myself on a video every day on Zoom calls, I probably would have better at now, but kind of 3 months ago, the whole idea of filming myself to talk about something was really weird. Like I was like, and now it's kind of what I do every day.
Timing, it probably is going to be the way of the world, you know, for a while. And even if we do get back a bit more to normal, it's, you know, a lot of companies are now going to take this way of working forward, especially because you can in the Salesforce ecosystem as well. And that is another reason a lot of people get into Salesforce, is the opportunity to be more flexible and work from home. So how have you found kind of being in Salesforce has impacted that kind of work-life balance for you and your family?
It's definitely more flexible, and definitely it is very good with kind of the current environment. So one of my clients is a charity just down the road from me, pretty much. And today I did a training session for them over Zoom. So I had people phoning in from different places, and was able to get them to share their screens and share my screen, and run a session on list views and reporting for them over Zoom. So that was a kind of great example, I guess, of the way things are now, and the fact that you can work in the Salesforce ecosystem from home successfully. I've actually found that possibly there's been more interest in Salesforce over the past 3 months because people have got a little bit of downtime and they can think about the systems behind their business, which in the kind of day-to-day busyness of a not-for-profit organisation, there's often not time to kind of take the bigger picture in. So I've actually had a few more inquiries about building Salesforce projects and doing training and things like that from local organisations just over the last 3 months.
I know we've had a lot more inquiries as well, and all of our super mums on our administrator course do some work experience with non-profits, and we've still got lots of projects going forwards. And speaking actually of our administrator course, which some people may also be interested in, you're a mentor for us, is that right?
Yes, I have mentored 3 of your students so far, and I've really enjoyed it. I think it's given me a way of again consolidating my knowledge and really just helping other people. It kind of brings a lot of joy to actually be able to help people out with their careers and things like that. Especially one of my mentees was here in Geelong with me, so that was a fantastic opportunity to actually I know both of us from either side of the world, the small town, and actually we're both involved in Salesforce Super Mums, but yeah, it was great to work with her and introduce her to the place where I volunteer, and take her into my work and just kind of show her how we're using Salesforce in those sort of environments in a kind of very practical way.
I'm so glad. Again, that's another part, you know, the mentorship is a really useful part for both mentors like yourself, it sounds like, and our trainees who are new to Salesforce to get networked, because that is an important part of kind of eventually finding a role in Salesforce, and especially if you want to be freelance, that element of networking is really important. I know you said that kind of once you got into Salesforce, it kind of snowballed because you've had quite a lot of interest through people realizing you're a bit of an expert in this field, and it's kind of taken off.
It definitely has kind of this year, I suppose, and even last year, after working with 3 community foundations, I was invited to speak at the National Community Foundations Forum in South Australia last October about integrated systems. And again, it was really kind of great to hear the enthusiasm and kind of the light bulb moment when I kind of realized, actually, if my systems talk to each other, and if I had something like Salesforce rather than Excel spreadsheets, that would make my life so much easier, especially in a part-time job where I'm spending all my time doing admin at the moment, or trying to find a report from merging together Excels or things like that.
That's great. And yeah, it's just shows what opportunity there is, especially I know in Australia and New Zealand there's a really big growing Salesforce market, and there's still lots of opportunities here as well, despite everything that's happened over the last few years. There are, as you say, a lot of companies are realizing that they can use this time, so it's a really great opportunity to upskill, whether you're new to Salesforce or building your experience. And I know we talked about you want to build the opportunities you have to do more consultancy work, and if you're in Salesforce you kind of need to keep learning so you can keep up to date with all the new things that are going on. So kind of what do you do for the next few years in terms of keeping learning and your certifications?
Yeah, every time I go into trail here, there's something new, there's something interesting that I want to learn about, and it's just great to kind of do those and then actually be able to try them out for different organisations I work with. So probably next on my agenda is trying to get my not-for-profit cloud consultant certification. That's definitely what I'd like to do over the summer here. But yes, obviously finishing the consulting course with Supermums, and yes, eventually probably expanding what the freelancing into perhaps an agency down the track.
Yeah, Salesforce, it's always great to have those certifications. There's lots of different tracks you can go down. I think especially when you're on doing something like our administrator course or the consultancy course, it's when you can use that time to think, oh, what route am I going to take here? What's going to be the best little package of skills for me to learn, for me to get where I want to be? And it sounds like the not-for-profit, we do actually cover quite a lot of that in the administrator course. A lot of our mums go on projects with non-profits who have the not-for-profit service pack products on their system. So we do look at that a little bit. But yeah, really good luck with that. Really good luck with that. I hope you get that under your belt. And yeah, good luck with finishing the consultancy course. What, just to round up, kind of with probably people watching this thinking about taking the consultancy course and building their career in Salesforce, what would you say to anyone who's kind of thinking about getting into Salesforce and thinking about progressing into something like the consultancy area? Have you got any top tips or piece of advice?
I think that to some extent is mold it to make it what it works best for you. Like, there's so much you can do with Salesforce. There's so many different paths you can take in terms of marketing or in terms of sales or admin, developing. Depends what your interests are. So kind of really find out what your niche is and have go with that. That's the place to start. I really recommend volunteering in terms of getting experience in Salesforce, especially at a charity like St Kilda Mums with a fantastic Salesforce volunteering program. And I just think that it's a really great career as a parent in terms of being able to be flexible and adaptable to fit it around your children's needs as well.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. If you'd just like to hang around for one more minute while I explain a little bit more about how anyone watching can find out more. So Supermums has several courses, two of which are administrator course and the consultancy course that we've been talking about with Natasha today. So the administrator course is your starting point, especially if you're new to Salesforce. That's where we teach you all about the fundamentals that gets you your Salesforce administrator certification. It's about a 6-month program, and quite uniquely to the training, it includes mentorship from lovely people like Natasha, and also live work experience, usually on a not-for-profit project. And that's what we're talking about. That's really important, doing that kind of stuff to get you that real workplace experience and your first success story. We do start it 4 times a year. So we have a rolling intake, so just download a pack and get in touch with us and we can talk to you about our latest course start dates. The consultancy course is a little different and has a rolling intake, so you can start that at any time, whenever you're ready, with online learning, short little videos to watch, and then group calls you can join for up to a year. So do head to our website to download an information pack. You can also use our link there, supermums.org/book-a-call. Depending on where you are, you'll get directions to either book in a call with myself or my colleague in the US, Shellin, and you can have a chat about your particular circumstances and ask any more questions that you've got about the course or how your experience might fit into a Salesforce career. So hopefully I will chat to you soon. Thank you so much for joining us today, Natasha. Good luck with your Salesforce future. Look forward to hearing more about it.